All right.
with episode 51 of
Mm-hmm.
Slurp Toast, the podcast. 51.
Damn.
Yeah, I know. I got a notice from Podbean after I published the last episode. We got a badge for doing 50 episodes. So good for
For
us.
perseverance.
Yeah.
Most people
Something
run
like
out of
that.
steam at around 8. Ah,
Yeah, we just don't know when to quit. That's all.
that's right. They
That's
get mad
always
that the
been.
only people listening are still their friends and nobody else. And
And we're still doing well in France. So as long as the folks in France are still listening, Trey Boucher.
Pray Boucher. Oh my God. Oh,
Oh, so what's going on, dude?
not much, but I would like to point out at the beginning of the baseball season, I had posted somewhere that I thought that the World Series would be Padres Blue Jays. I am so close to being half right.
Didn't they? I think they lost again tonight. I think they're down 2 to Philly now, though.
No, they won tonight.
Did they? Okay, I was eating, and the last thing I saw was
8-5.
Philly.
So I think
Yeah,
it's
cool.
tied up now.
Okay, I can go for that. I am all in favor of the Padres. I told Laura they're kind of. I think we've talked about this at Comic-Con. Sort of my default National League team at this point.
Exactly. Same here. I have a hat or two. So yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I do as well. And speaking of hats, after reviewing last time's podcast, last time's stream, I decided a hat was required because there was a lot of my bald head in the stream. So, yeah. So I decided I'd go with the Black Adam hat since the movie opens tomorrow. Nice.
There we go. And I am, of course, broadcasting from the alternate site.
Are you in
Yes,
the Babe Cave?
I am in the Babe Cave tonight. Yes.
Babe
They're
Cave.
watching Babe Cave. Yeah, they're watching, I don't know, horrible Halloween movies downstairs. So here I am.
Define horrible.
It's just, I think, cheesy. I'm not sure. I didn't quite figure out what movie they were watching.
Okay.
One of those when you come in the middle, you're like, "What the? B. Arthur? What? Wait, how long have I been asleep? When did we start the Golden Girls marathon?"
She was very young. She was Adrienne Barbeau, in fact. That's how young she was.
Yeah.
There's our obligatory Maud reference for the show. I'm done now.
There we go. Oh, wasn't it Adrienne Barbeau was like her kid on that or something, wasn't she? There we go.
Maud's daughter. Yes, that is correct.
Oh my God.
Laura and I've had this conversation. A lot of the shows we got away with watching as kids, we had no business watching as kids. Maud comes to mind.
Maud comes to mind. Well, all the those early. Well, I don't know if they're early. Well, wait a minute. Maybe 70s. Norman Lear's 100, so.
He wasn't even middle aged yet when he was at his peak.
No, let's think about this. So those shows came out the early 70s, late 70s.
Mm-hmm. Well, they
Like All in the
started
Family.
all started with All in the Family, and it just sort of spread from there because it was like a mushroom cloud.
Yeah, because you got Maude, the Jeffersons,
right? And Maude begat Good Times.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Because
Florida was Maude's housekeeper.
There we go.
And
that gave us John Amos and Dynamite.
Yeah, I mean, but
wait a minute, the Jeffersons and then Flo. She got her own show after that.
Well, she was on Alice, but yeah, Marla
not
Gibbs'
Flo,
character.
but you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
The housekeeper from the Jeffersons.
It didn't last for long, but she did get her own show. They realized very quickly
like
without her
22 or something like that, or
that was a different show later.
It was a different show. Okay.
Yeah, same actress, but different show. Yeah.
Okay.
No. I know too much stupid shit.
Oh, wait a minute! Like I'm not right there with you.
I'm arguing the validity of your Marla Gibbs programming. Come on.
I knew that was the name. Okay, yeah. I thought Marla Gibbs. She did. What was her character's name on the Jeffersons?
I'm trying to think of it. I can't think of it.
But yeah. So I remember she got her own show. And then there was like Brownstone 221 or some crazy. I mean, it was like I just remember
227. It was 227.
Was it Brownstone 227, or
It
was
was
it
just
just
227.
227?
Just
Okay,
227,
God.
but you're good.
Because
What was her name? Okay, I gotta look. I can't think of what her name was on the Jeffersons. That's gonna bug the shit out of me. Yeah, I mean, all those
now
shows
if
stayed up,
the
but like
Ropers got their own show, that would have been, or the neighbors.
well, we got Lenny Kravitz out of that. So
Okay, there we go. God.
What was her name? Oh my god! Please stand by while I look it up. It was Florence. So she was
See,
Flo. So
Flo,
you weren't
Florence.
wrong, just the wrong show.
That's right. That'd be Alice and Kiss My Grits. And
Alice.
then whenever you saw that actress without makeup, you're like, oh my God, she's a corpse.
Which one?
Not Linda Lavin. The one who played Flo on Alice.
Polly Holiday.
Holly, there we go. But yeah, because they made her up. And if you ever saw her without makeup,
Oh yeah,
not the
yeah.
same
So
woman.
without the red Dolly Parton wig, and yeah,
Makeup.
that's
Yeah,
the
she
same
was like
person. Yeah.
100.
Yes. Well, you know,
Vince Payback
she and Vera, whatever her name was.
oh yes. Oh
We,
God.
we can do one more step, and then Alice's son was played by Philip McKeon, who was the brother of Nancy McKeon from Facts of Life,
Oh my God.
which we can then circle
Wow.
back because that's a spinoff of Different
The
Strokes.
different strokes.
We are
Well,
painting the
wait a minute, because
70s
that was like
television.
that. Well, now we've moved into like the 80s now because because once you get into like Alice and Flo, or when you get into Facts of Life, Different Strokes, Hello Larry. Uh,
Oh,
because I remember when Different
nice,
Strokes and Hello Larry
nice.
were the back and back, the fresh comedies
They
on
crossed over.
CB and yes, because Hello Larry knew McLean Stevenson knew Conrad Bain.
Conrad Bain. I'm going to close this out because Conrad Bain was on Maude.
Oh, as a recurring character, he was like a
He was the
neighbor or
next door
something, or a
neighbor's
friend of her.
husband. Yes.
There
Yeah.
we go.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you. We're done
Wow.
here. Good night, folks.
Okay. So She-Hulk, huh?
Yeah, that was actually where I was going next.
Holy
By the way, we
cow.
already have a title for this episode. It's the validity of Marla Gibbs programming. Unless we come up
I'm
with
just
something better,
amazed
that's
at
what it's gonna
how we linked all that crap together.
and circled it back because that's what we do. That is what we like to call the circle game. In case you're not familiar with our ways, start at
Yes,
a
yes.
point, work our way into the wilderness, and come back around. She-Hulk, yeah, that. What'd you think of the finale?
That was a little too meta.
I didn't hate
I mean,
it.
there's like I think there's a fine line between breaking the fourth wall and just basically throwing everything out the window.
I liked when she broke through the Disney Plus screen and jumped into another one. That was funny.
Oh
And I
yeah,
liked the AI. That was
the
funny.
confronting Kevin, the AI, that was
Yes.
great, actually.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
But
it's
I don't
just
know.
kind of it came. You had it going along. You had all of a sudden, oh crap, Emil, not evil, but he's doing this speech for the toxic masculinity crowd.
He's doing
And then she shows up,
seminars.
and you kind of thought that would work itself out. And instead, we go completely meta, completely out the fourth wall, and do like come back to the hard reboot. Oh, yeah. Hey, this is my son, Sklar. Wait, what?
Yeah, that was
The emo Hulk was a little underwhelming.
and the CGI was not good.
No, I think they'd run out of money with the Daredevil episode. I mean, they didn't have enough money.
I did like when characters just started falling out of the sky. Just bam, bam, bam. Okay. Whoops,
Yeah.
sorry about that. Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah, no, I thought they just sort of it felt like I mean they couldn't even because Charlie Cox is on there, and he goes, there's 10 bad guys. It's 15 seconds to take each one of them out, and she's like, I don't have an hour to wait. He's like, the math doesn't work, or half an hour to wait. But then he's there, and I'm like, oh, cool. It's a Netflix hallway fight.
Hallway fight. I said
And
it
we
out loud.
never got the hallway fight
I
because she
said it
comes
out loud.
crashing through the ceiling. I will say
I
this.
love
I think maybe one of the problems with the show might be because it is so CGI heavy that if it doesn't work, then it's going
it
to
just sort of
basically unravel everything else.
Yeah, I agree with that, and it was touch and go in a lot of spots. That was maybe my one overall complaint is if you're going to do a CGI character, you got to have a lockdown before you go to press, as they say.
Mm-hmm.
It's one thing when it's Rocket Raccoon, and Groot, and you're spending $1 billion on the movie. It's another when you got TV money, and
even if you've got Disney TV money,
it's still just TV money.
It's still TV money at the end of the day.
Yep. So overall, I enjoyed the show. I look forward to seeing another season. It very much captured the spirit of the John Byrne runs on the title. Yeah. So in that respect, I enjoyed it. I liked the way they updated the origin of the character. I liked that they circled back on some of the points from the Hulk movie that they've just kind of left stagnant.
No, it was fun. I did not like the wedding episode because that one seemed to me to be sort of the oh no, it's a Disney Plus series. There's that episode that doesn't work because we're trying to make it go 8. We should probably only go 6. So here's that episode you can tell could have been rolled into another one and no one would have blinked.
Yeah, that was the weakest of the 8. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I'm curious to see where they go with Daredevil now, because they've announced Born Again, which is not a Disney arc at all. Because frankly, with that one, don't they have to pretty much start out with Karen being a junkie porn star?
Yeah.
Junkie porn star,
Yes.
yeah.
I want to know how they can reconcile Matt's Catholic guilt with a one-night stand with She-Hulk. Shouldn't that man be in New York in a confessional talking to that priest?
Well, he did go back to
back in hell conditions, talking to that priest. Yeah. That'll be the start of the Netflix show. Is him in confession.
Father, I have a confession, and this is a doozy.
This is a doozy. I nailed She-Hulk. What?
What's the our father's conversion on that one? Gamma irradiated sex.
Oh my God! You know that that's a joke about what's the penalty for this is that there's a new priest. He's filling in for a father doing confession. He's nervous about it. The father tells him, he goes, don't worry about it. He goes, there's a chart in there that tells you when they confess to a sin, you just go down the chart and give them the penance. And so he's in there, and the first lady comes in, and they admits to impure thoughts, and he quickly scans the list and is like, all right, impure thought. Okay, give you 3 Hail Marys and 5 Our Fathers. Bless you. Next person comes in, they admit to something, goes down the chart, does this all afternoon. Finally, somebody comes in and they admit to being unfaithful to their husband. And I'm sorry, what did you do? Oh, I had oral sex with someone who wasn't my husband. And he's looking down, he's like, he can't find it on the chart. He kind of opens the door, he goes down to one more confessional and says, Father, yeah. What does Father give for a blowjob? And the old priest says, a candy bar.
That makes me a little bit ill. Oh, that's funny. Well. We should also talk about Terrier by Night. I think. And when we started all this nonsense with Terrier by Night, I had no idea they were actually making a show about the Werewolf by Night character. Did you?
Mhm.
Okay.
No, because I think, well, 50, so like a year ago. I don't even think it was a glimmer in Michael Giacomo or the composer's eye.
I'm looking to see what episode we dropped. Let's see. I don't know.
Well, I liked it. It was fun. It was, kind of, old-timey horror
Yeah, that was one of my
where all
favorite
your
parts
effects
about what
are
they.
are black and white, and so you're dealing with lighting effects and that kind of a thing. I like, he slash and slash and slash, and you don't actually see the slashing, but then all of a sudden the screen just goes dark with blood, you know,
Yes,
which I thought was a great effect,
the
which
transformation in
didn't
the shadows was another classic
the
monster
transformation.
movie. I
The
love
even the
that.
design of the werewolf part was that he
Oh
wasn't,
yeah.
very much an old school, Lon Chaney, stay off the moors kind of creation.
Well, I liked when he first started changing when he was in the cage and he put his hand down and it did the American Werewolf in London situation where the hand shoots out into sort of a paw,
Uh-huh.
and then that was all they showed. Then it was
Everything
like,
else, yeah,
oh, we're not gonna.
exactly.
And I loved the use of Man Thing. Can I just say that?
That was amazing and unexpected, because he
Totally
leans up against the
unexpected.
thing, and that hand comes on him, and you're like going, "Are you kidding me? Man-Thing? What the
Yeah,
hell?" And
yeah,
he
and
pats
like
the
the
hand,
busted
and
through
you're
the
like,
wall and the eyes and
"Yeah,
the vine snouter. I was like, I'm geeked out big time. I
no,
loved it. I
that
loved that
was."
was and the best part of the Man Thing being in it, other than him being in it at all, was when like the one hunter went after him and he put his hand around his head and he burst into flames because, as we know, if you know fear, you burn at the Man Thing's
Eh,
touch. And I thought that
yes.
they didn't explain it; it just happened.
And, yeah, when he cooked the old woman too, when he showed up at the end.
Yeah.
It was, what do you call him? Ted. It's
Yes.
so yeah.
I
No, that was
laughed at that
actually
as well. I was like, "Yep, that's good."
yeah. No, that was fun and and unexpected, which I think made it all the better. And then I quickly went online and bought the Man Thing Funko Pop because
Nice.
if this sets things up right, I should be able to be a dick and sell it for a profit.
Hey, it's, it's the way the system works, man.
That's right. You sneakerheads have ruined my hobby, so I'm going to go ahead and take your money. Um,
Is that what's happened? Is that what it is? Is it sneakerheads have infiltrated?
to an extent. I mean, it was getting as it became more popular. And I did not intend to wear the Funko Hall of Fame T-shirt tonight. It's just what I was wearing to work underneath my
Okay.
official
No
work
worries.
clothes. But yeah, no, it used to be, eh, yeah, 5 or 6 years ago, maybe a little bit more. It used to be that like a Funko dropped an exclusive, you could, didn't have a like 100% chance of getting it, but you had a good chance of getting exclusives. And then all of a sudden, these things started selling out in minutes. And it's a largely an influx of sneakerheads who were coming
They
in, and
price themselves out of their own hobby.
exactly, they price themselves out of shoes, and then are out to probably destroy, I would say, hobby cards, Funko,
Yeah.
anything else that they touch, because they apparently their avarice knows no bounds. They are locust of the modern era.
Wow. Nice. Just went
I've
biblical on me.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. We went by a sneaker show at down by where I work. There's a an old arena that they've turned into this monstrous multi-purpose building that they can't seem to find any purpose for. Um, and so they were having a sneaker convention there, and I almost wanted to go just to see what it was like to buy and sell tennis shoes. Um, it just is very strange. The sneakerheads I don't get. You know, I understand that you get like a baseball card, you put it into a sleeve, you get it graded, and now it's in a slab, but you can still enjoy the thing. And then you go out and you buy a set of tennis shoes, and then you wrap them in Saran wrap, and you never touch them again. You know,
Yeah,
and
I will admit I don't necessarily get that either.
mhm.
It's shoes to me are utilitarian, so I don't get it.
And
I've
that's yeah,
never had a pair of
that's the whole
shoes that I didn't wear out. So
right. And we would have been of age to have like geeked out over Michael Jordans. Um,
Mhm.
except that we geeked out over floral vans, and checkered vans.
True,
You
true.
know?
I think
Uh,
I'm 95% certain I had some of the early Jordans, but I wore them every fucking day. You know,
exactly, because they're shoes, and that's what you do with shoes.
that's their purpose.
I have a nice pair of Doc Martens that I've got this goldfish, like Japanese goldfish print on them that I
Mhm.
only wear for special occasions, but I wear the damn things, and
Right.
they're affectionately called the Yakuzas.
Your name or Doc Martin's name?
My name. I think Doc
Okay, just
just calls
checking.
them, Japanese fish or koi. I think, yeah. I think, yeah. Doc may have called them kois or something, and I'm the one who's called them the yakuzas. They
It's better.
really, yeah, they really, finish off an outfit.
I was going to really draw the outfit together, pull the outfit together.
Uh huh. Yeah. It's like Lebowski's rug.
Yeah, exactly. I have a question for you. I have a
Uh
question.
huh.
Laura asked me this the other day, and I think you've told me before, but I don't remember. So we were watching the football game, and she was like, because I'd complained the other night about I refer to the Cleveland baseball team as the not Indians because I just can't call them the Guardians. Just can't do it. And she wanted to know why the Chiefs get to still be the Chiefs. And I think you explained it to me one time, but I don't remember. So do you know?
Yeah, it was because there was a mayor in Kansas City called H. Rowe Bartle, and his nickname was Chief. He was big at the Boy Scouts. He was big in Kansas City. He was big, actually, just big, fat boss hog looking guy. Um, if we go down that rabbit hole with Enos,
Roscoe P.
Ross,
Coltrane.
yeah,
All right,
exactly.
all right.
Him
You want
getting
to do
his,
it? I'm all right. Here we go. Who was Huey Hogg, boss's nephew,
oh God, I don't know. I
stand-up
have no idea.
comedian Jeff Altman?
Patton
He
Oswald.
hi, daddy.
Oh wow. Oh man.
Jeff
Hot and
Altman was
spicy,
Huey
big,
Hogg, sweet and meaty. He
sweet
hi.
and meat.
Yeah.
So was it a Roscoe spinoff or was it a Boss Hog spinoff?
Enos got the spinoff. Huey
And,
was a recurring guest star.
okay, I thought that
He drove.
Roscoe.
He
I
drove a
thought
white.
Roscoe got a spinoff before Enos. And
No,
Enos's
Roscoe
show
never left
lasted like
Hazard.
3 or 4 seasons, right? Or two.
Maybe two. Two, I would give it. I don't think it was more than that. And then he went home to Hazard. But yeah, he was a
And
L.A.
then
cop. So
yeah, he did that, and about the same time as when, since we started with All in the Family, Carol Connor's Heat of the
heat of the
Night,
night.
which like ran forever.
Yeah, the show was always on. It was like Law and Order SVU before SVU came around. Um, all right, here's so really weird segue, but there's a documentary about Sidney Poitier that's on Apple TV.
Mhm.
Who he was, of course, in the original movie version of In the Heat of the Night, and he had From Sir to Love, In the Heat of the Night, and Look Who's Coming to Dinner all come out in the same year.
Damn.
Yeah, that's what I said. In 1967, all three of those movies came out. That's got to be one of the best years any actors ever had.
Yeah, that's coming out
Because
swinging.
those are all stone cold classics, man. I'm just like,
Wow.
yeah,
Nice
yeah,
job, Sydney.
yeah. You do you, man. All
Yeah.
right, so I got the
Damn.
answer on the Chiefs.
Okay, so
Yeah.
yeah, so H. Robartle. Anyway, his nickname was the Chiefs, and I think he may have played a role in getting the AFL Dallas Texans to move to Kansas City.
Don't know why
Now,
the
the
balls
problem is
play.
that they can say that the name is a reference to to Bartle, to the mayor, which is like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Except all of your iconography is Indian based.
Yeah, yeah.
You play at Arrowhead
The
Stadium, for God's
the
sakes.
arrowhead on the side of the helmet says otherwise.
Which actually, to be honest, is probably one of the least offensive of any
Yeah, I
kind of
mean, you
native
could.
iconography that you could do. It's not like the Redskins or the
Yeah,
Blackhawks, where you actually have the representation of an Indian head.
our
And I
Chief
would say that
Wahoo.
or Chief White, yeah, or
You
the
could even
Screaming
like
Braves baseball.
you could even like smooth that out so it just becomes an arrow. I mean, you really could. I
Oh
mean,
yeah, yeah,
you're
yeah. You
right.
don't do the jagged edge around it. It's easy to. And we talked about that once. What team would be the next one to lose their uh, name?
I say Notre Dame. It's about time the mix got pissed off.
And they're no longer the Fighting Irish. Let's go back to the Drinking Irish. The Drunken Irish. How about the Lover Irish? No, no, no. Yeah, they would. Yeah, there we go. Frank, Mike, at work, we're talking about that. And if you called a team like with a inappropriate slur for Italians, that there's a very good chance the Italians wouldn't care, and that if you had the so and so Dags, they would be like totally cool with it.
I think it was cool.
They would. They think it's cool. They'd all wear the t-shirts and the tracksuits and the pinky rings. One of the things that always amused me,
the tracksuits.
the tracksuits.
That was
Yeah, that's
nicely
what.
done.
Yeah, you go to the stadium and it's just nothing but velour. Or
And wife
or those
beaters.
lightweight, huh?
And wife
And the
beaters.
wife beaters, the chains and stuff. And the one thing that was always funny is like when we were working on the hotel and we'd go to St. Louis, and we would often go to a place in St. Louis called the Hill, which is an Italian neighborhood, and we would go there, and Frank would usually. Um, so the way it would work is we'd work all day. We'd each go to our separate rooms, take naps, call the wives, all that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
And he would come down and like I would come down in a t-shirt and shorts because I'm done. I'm not wearing long pants anymore. I'm not wearing a button down. I'm done. And Frank would come down um, like in ironed shorts, pressed shorts, and somehow or another he had brought like jewelry with him and would put on, so he'd end up with like 3 or 4 chains. He'd then have like bracelets on and stuff, and his hair was already slicked back and stuff. And there was one trip where we were driving through the Hill in a Mercedes with tinted windows, and Frank is all tricked out. And I'm sitting in the passenger seat getting smaller and smaller because it's like I have now become part of Frank's rolling stereotype, and I'm not liking this as much as I thought. Because we pull up in a tinted
Boy,
window Mercedes in front of an Italian restaurant, and he steps out like all blinged out, and you're just
and the
like,
Sinatra music just starts playing automatically.
you can hear it. It's just it's piped into the neighborhood. They play it overhead. Him and Dino, when the poodle hits you,
Overhead.
I like a big pizza pie. That's amore. And then we go to an Italian restaurant. I was hoping for that makes me a little bit ill.
Sorry.
That ain't gonna go.
No, that one works too. Oh yeah. And we would walk it. Yeah, it made me. I felt self conscious. Frank actually blended right into the woodwork. You never knew he was there, and I'm sitting there sticking out like the odd Peckerwood out, which is a phrase for the non-Italians.
Is it really?
It is in our neighborhood, the
Oh,
Peckerwood.
okay.
So, uh, And yes, I was like, I never felt more Peckerwood. And then what
Okay,
was
that's
funny though is that Anne actually lived in that neighborhood,
mm-hmm.
and we were down there once, and Frank had met her one time, and he goes, "Doesn't your friend live down here?" I was like, "She does. In fact, hang on." And so I started thinking it through, and I knew she worked for herself and she'd incorporated. So I looked up her incorporation on the Missouri, on the Secretary of State's, and it listed
Right.
the agent. And I called her. I said, "Hey, Anna, I know it's short notice, but Frank and I aren't here working on the hotel. We want you to come down and join us for dinner." And she's like, "Oh, I might come down." She's like, "I'm tired. It's been a long day." I was like, "Okay, well, I'm at this address, and I know I'm like 3 blocks from your house, so you could come down and have dinner with us, or Frank and I are going to go find your house and come visit you. I'll be there in 10 minutes."
And she knew you weren't bluffing. That's the thing.
She knew. Yeah. And the funny part about it is like, Frank has like ice blue eyes.
Hmm.
And so the first time she met him, she and I were sitting on this one side of the booth, and she was like commenting about how pretty his eyes were. And she's like, "Oh my God, his eyes are so blue. Oh my God." And I was like, "Oh yeah." I go, "Every vendor we work with just loves his eyes. They just go gaga." Frank is across the table, and we're talking as if he is not there. And we're on our side of the table giggling away, and Frank is turning redder and redder. She's like, "Oh God, do the women just love him?" I go, "Oh my God." I go, "You have no idea." I go, "I feel like such a turd." We go in, and I mean, as I go, the only nice thing is that Frank locks up around pretty girls, whereas I open like a delicate flower.
Oh, yeah.
uh, I should tell the folks who are watching that even though that crawl going across the bottom of the screen says check out slurptoast.com for more content, for
There's no
some reason
content.
the website is down. I don't know why. I discovered it yesterday. Didn't have a
Okay.
chance today to fix it. That's on my list of things to do tomorrow. Slurp Toast will be back up, but I don't know why it's down. So bear with me. It will be back. So
Hmm.
anyway.
Fair enough. So anyway, that's enough. So I did answer the question about the Chiefs, and
You
then we
did.
went
You
on
did.
this Italian rant. So we're
I'm
good.
still chuckling about the tracksuits. That's amazing. Um, okay, CPAP
And I
question time. Oh, go
oh
ahead.
good, yes, our favorite old man conversation topic.
Uh,
I'm
last
lounging on
night,
this giant, oversized pink
wow, it is
beanbag.
all of those things. It is all of those things.
Oh yeah,
Um,
still not pictures
so
on the
last night,
wall, but see,
where are your
Spider-Man.
pictures? Still on the
Hmm.
wall. Where are your pictures? Um, so last night, Laura, or yesterday, Laura turned the heat on because it got below 75. I don't know. Um, so the air
We had a
wasn't
hard
running.
frost.
Anything below 80 and she's looking for like blankets.
Okay.
Anyway, so the heater got turned on, so there's no circulation. She turned the fan off. I was
Oh,
wound up and wired for some reason. I don't know why. And I felt like I was drowning. I had a little something in the sinus and I couldn't
uh-huh.
catch my breath. I like took it off after like 2 hours. I'm like, I'm done. Can't do this tonight. Is that normal?
Uh, yes. That
Okay.
I can't even make the 2 hours when that happens. So yeah, you get a little bit of a head cold and a little bit of congestion, and yes, you 100% feel like you're drowning, because it's like Newman describing the mail. Then it's Christmas and the catalogs, and they keep coming and coming and coming, and that's how you feel about this air constantly blowing in your
Well, and I
nose.
didn't have the
Is that
mask
you just
set
can't
just
seem to
right, and
catch
so it
up.
kept blowing out over my eye.
I've done that when you
It
wake
was
up the next morning
la-
and you're like, I can't open my eye.
last night
Dried
was
shut.
not a good night. Everything was wrong. So yeah.
No, yeah, that happens. I had one night so bad that I was stuffed up. I think I told someone, it's like, by the way, man does not live on antihistamines alone. And I know because I tried. Um, and I did. I took like one antihistamine to go to bed. And and that wasn't working. And so I got up and I went downstairs and I took 2 more antihistamines, and that didn't work. And then I started doing shots of bourbon because I was so tired and so angry I could not get to sleep. I had been fighting this for at least, 3 to 4 hours, and I couldn't breathe. I was stuffed up, and I finally passed out at like 3 in the morning in the chair. But my final thought before passing out was like, this is how like rock stars die. That I'm taking a bunch of
Yeah,
antihistamines, of half a bottle of liquor, and
you're gonna
um,
choke on your own
I should
vomit.
work on my will.
Oh wait, the medicine just kicked.
Yeah. Yeah, then you wake up. But usually what happens is, yeah, it sucks. You end up, having to prop yourself up to make sure you got the drainage going because the air is relentless. It just keeps going and going and going and going.
I
Um,
don't hate the machine. I've gotten used to sleeping with it. I've gotten it
mhm,
adjusted so I can maximize the hose, so I can move around a little bit.
okay.
And so, and I had the mask fit perfectly, and then I had decided it was a good idea to clean everything, and now I can't get it back the way I had it. So, yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. With the one that fits over, when you roll over on your side, it pushes, and then all of a sudden there's that hiss of air that your partner, yeah, your partner is like, stop that, go to sleep. It's like, have a sleep. You're
Now,
the
Laura
one who's
doesn't seem to
awake.
mind it. It's really, it's really quite quiet. Much quieter than the ones we used to sell at my store. So I'm pretty pleased with that.
It's like a little tiny iron lung.
I see, really, the only thing I ever think I hear is when it's heating up the water tank. You know,
Oh, I quit using that. And my
did you?
reason for it, yeah, I quit using it because it made everything smell like a pool. Um, you strap it on, you're like, oh my God, I'm at the gym. And then the wet air hits you, and all of a sudden, uh, I couldn't do it. It was uncomfortable. I mean, I didn't, sure. I wake up in the morning with like all the boogers in my nose completely dried out and stuff, but it felt better than sleeping in a swamp. Then I'd
Maybe
wake
I'm
up
just
and
used to that.
you'd have like the condensation kind of like, rolling it out into your mustache and stuff, and you're like, oh God, it's gross and it smells like boogers. I can't deal with this. Fuck, I gotta go to work, man, or shave. I don't know.
All right. Well, I will keep that up. I'll keep that in mind as we move into the winter and see if
Into the
if
winter.
that happens.
Yeah, and you don't have to then replace all the equipment as often if you don't use the water tank.
Yeah, but
I
don't
only
mind
replace once the thing crushes down and doesn't hold its shape anymore.
it.
So they're like, Steve, it's been 8 months since you ordered refills. Is everything fine? Yeah, I'm good. I got another 3 months to go, bitch.
Yeah, I was just laying there like my brain was running, and the thing was hissing into my eye, and I was
and you and you
hot,
the- and
and
you
I was
can
just like,
never, yeah, you can't catch your breath because every time you start to blow it out, you hyperventilate basically with the fucking thing on your face. What you figure is supposed to not happen. It's supposed to relax you and calm you and make you sleep deeper. And instead, it feels like you're running a marathon. You can't catch your breath, and you eventually rip the thing off of your head in the middle of the night and slam it down on the nightstand. And then your wife is like, "What's wrong?" And you're like, "I'm going to the basement. Fuck this."
yeah, I went to the
But that
couch
may just be me.
and
That may just be me.
no, I don't have a basement, but I went and I went to the couch in the den, and I was like, I can't
Mhm,
turn on the fucking TV because it'll be too loud, and the bed's on the other side of the wall. God damn it.
mhm.
Okay, well, I brought my book with me. I'll read that till I fall asleep. Just kept reading. Wasn't sleeping.
Yeah,
Just
because you never fall asleep because you're all
yeah,
stuffed up and can't breathe.
yeah.
And you're pretty sure that device was trying to kill you,
Yes, this is the most
which,
exciting part of our program. Old men and their ailments, the CPAP
wait
years.
a minute. You know what, though? I've always wondered about that because I think the conversations that we've had about our ailments are way more enjoyable than like old men sitting around talking about procedures and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Because,
Oh, for
oh yeah,
sure.
it's not like these old gray heads going, "Oh yeah, I got my prostate examined. I got to put the finger up the butt." One of the guys at work had his done. He was like, "How'd it go?" He goes, "Well, my butt's no longer a virgin." And you're like, "Damn, dude, work." I'm no longer a virgin back there, is what he said.
Oh,
Just
nice. Oh, wow.
there. See, that's I've seen the old gray heads talking about, "Oh, what about you? I can't get up and I go to make water and it's just trickle, 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 trickle." You're like, yeah, when I get to that point, fucking shoot me. Me 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 talking about a life and death struggle with my CPAP machine where I'm convinced it's trying to kill me because I took too many antihistamines is different than,
Better than talking about your anal virginity. Yeah.
exactly. Or
Yeah.
talking about how you can't make water anymore, which
By the way,
my
make
grandmother,
water? Really?
oh yeah, my grandmother, she made it to like 93, 94, 93. Yeah, anyway. And we were talking about something, and she was talking about going to church, and she's like, "I don't think I want to go this week." Last week, Walter Rushline in the middle, the preacher said, does anybody have any announcements? And this old dude stood up, and I just said his name, but anyway, and announced, he says, "Well, I just want everyone to know I'm having a hard time making water," and then sat back down. And I go, "No way. He didn't really say that." My grandma's like, "He did. I thought that was strange." I go, "That is strange and hysterical, Grandma."
Well, I mean,
You
it
don't
goes to
realize it's hysterical, but I think it's hysterical,
it is, but I mean, it also goes to the comfort level he has with the people in his church.
which is way too much.
Yeah, but I mean,
Mhm,
God bless him, I guess.
mhm. You have an announcement. Yes, sir. Bag is full. I gotta go dump it. What the hell? She also told, you know, she tells stories that were inadvertently to me hilarious. She talked about being at a funeral where she goes, "I don't know why they put that Christmas tree so close to the casket. That preacher's wife got up there to sing a song and she bumped into the tree and it fell in the casket." I go, "Please tell me it was
Oh.
open." I think it was. Oh, that makes it so much better.
And then Jim Bob was covered in tinsel, and that's how he went to
Tinsel
his
and
great
smash.
reward.
Yeah, he went to meet the
Broken
Lord
glass
looking like
shards in his makeup,
he looked like he spent his final moments with a stripper covered in glitter.
flashing lights.
Flashy lights, covered in glitter, a couple of dollars in his
Uh,
coat pocket. Yeah, that'd been.
well, if you're gonna go in style, by God, go in style.
Oh my God, yes.
That's too
Uh,
funny.
well, and these are country folks, so the idea of me, a guy thinking of a guy covered in glitter as they're putting him in the ground, is funny, and creating this story about spending his last days with strippers. They'd be like, "Well, I thought he looked pretty good right up until the end."
See, my folks are both from small towns, and I can talk about them because they're never going to listen to this. But anytime my mom gets together with my uncles, they talk about who's died,
Exactly.
and I have always found that beyond morbid. But it's their version of catching up and trying to stay in touch with the small town where they grew up with, but it's still fucking weird.
And dark, and they don't think it's
Yeah.
dark, and you're sitting there going, "Jesus Christ, how many Thresher accidents do they have in this town?" Um, well, the Darnell boy, I think he went off and got killed, and you're like, "God, that was kind of matter of fact, Grandma." Um, I did not deliver a eulogy at my grandmother's funeral, and it's probably a good thing I'm not because my mom's like, "What are you going to say?" I was like, "Well, I'd say something like I first met Grandma when I was very, very small, and even though I was, a couple of days old, I was told it went well." And then I go, I'd probably talk about the time I asked her if there's two family names in this small area there are, and I was like, I probably mentioned, asking her if the fags and the butts got along. And my mom was like, "You can't tell that story." I'm like, "Why not?" She goes, "People in those families have changed their names because of that." I go, "Okay." She goes, "They might be at the funeral." I'm like, "So then I could ask them." She's like, "No."
Directly.
Directly. "Hey, facts, butts, you guys get along? All right, just checking." And then, of course, I said, well, and
There's
then
a whole lot of questioning that goes with that.
I told him, I said, and I would also probably tell him that growing up, that no matter what I thought I would be fun to do, Grandma had a story about how somebody died doing it. So it'd be like, "Well, I want to go bungee jumping." "Well, I think the rush line boy died bungee jumping." "Okay. I want to go skydiving." "I'm pretty sure there was a boy lived down on 42 highway. He fell out of a plane and he died." "I want to go white river rafting." "Drowned." "I want to go to this." Dad.
Grandma was
My
hardcore.
mom is like, yeah, my mom is like, "You can't tell those stories." I go, "Why not? It's a funeral. Death stories should kill." And she's like, "No, you can't do that." The one story I do wish I had told is that because of growing up and because of all these horror stories, there was a bathroom in my grandmother's house that I refused to use because I had at one point become convinced that if I was in there using that bathroom, a creep would come out of the woods at the back of the property and break in that window and steal me. And so I never used that bathroom growing up because I was convinced I would be kidnapped. And even when I got old enough to realize that the story was bullshit, I still would use that bathroom for the same reason. I'd go in there and I'd be like looking at the backwoods and the one light at the barn and be like, "Yeah, I'm not doing this. I'm going to the other one. Nah, not happening today."
So my version of that is this, and it's not as bad as yours, but my Uncle Terrell, my grandmother on my mom's side lived with my Uncle Terrell. Uncle Terrell had been a florist. He'd opened a florist shop. He'd blasted his front patio, his driveway, and had a florist shop. Closed it, but the shop was where the kids got to go. Got to
Okay.
go.
Yeah,
Where we were
like
banished to. Yeah. Yeah. Y'all go
go
to the
sit in
shop.
the
We'll
cooler
let you
with the
know when the
tulips.
food's ready. Yeah, yeah. The
You go
shop had
sit
a
in the
sliding.
lilies.
Oh no, the shop had a sliding glass door in the front that leaked every time it rained. Uh, there's like a display case along one. What was a display case along one wall that has like these plants overgrown? When Uncle Terrell passes, I want to move that because I want to see what toys are behind there that we lost 50 years ago that went sailing over the plants.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. No, 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 no. Not a freeze up. Damn it. Nope, I'm online. Okay. Ah, crap. Hopefully Bruce here will realize in a second that his internet has disconnected him and we'll get back online. In the meantime, I guess I get to do filler. Uh, so let's see. We could talk about the death thing. I need him back online to tell the really good story about actually almost dropping my grandmother's coffin. That's a good one. I don't come out of it like well, but it is kind of a fun story. I could also give a quick tour of the. Oh, I wonder if I could do that. Hmm. I could do a quick version of what's on your desk, which is one of our recurring features. Um, where we basically pull something cool off of our desks um, and describe it in great detail. Usually it's a toy. Uh, Man, oh man, this sucks. Or I can make fun of card breakers again, or we could do hot takes on sports and how bad the Russell Wilson deal now looks for Denver, especially since they gave him a big contract extension and he can't put more than 10 to 15 points on the board per game. Nice job, John. Um, What I should do? Yeah, he's completely kicked out now. Or I could do something really quick. It's a version of what's on the desk. And we'll start off with a couple of years ago, Funko did MLB. There you go, you're back. Okay, I was actually trying to fill the time. I don't know how well I did.
What were you showing? I saw pop when I popped back in.
Well, that was the thing. I was talking about what I thought I should do to fill time, and I went with what's on your desk. And
Sweet.
since I'm not
Have one too.
downstairs to show the really cool stuff that's on my desk, I was starting to show and talk about how Funko made MLB mascots. And since I predicted the
Nice.
Padres, I was pulling down the swinging friar. And then I was
Nice.
going to talk about how they should have done the Chicago White Sox mascot here in his prison stripes, which I think is the way to properly dress out this character. I don't know
Nice.
what the hell the character's name is, but it does look like Oscar the Grouch fucked Barney. So anyway,
Oh, if we're doing what's on your desk, I have a fun one. Ready?
good, because I'm filling time. Is it sneakers? It looks like sneakers.
It's not. It's something much more useful to me.
Is it the Corpus Christi?
It's a hat.
Ooh.
It's the Chick-fil-A, because I use the app a lot.
So
It's
a
a major
reward.
award. It's a major reward. It came in a box that said Fragile. Yeah. I may need to cut back on the Chick-fil-A. My wife says I have a problem. When they start sending you merch, it may be time to cut back.
When they start sending you complimentary merch that you didn't even ask for. Moist Boy says free hot and diabetes. So so apparently he joined us in the middle of the meltdown because his comment before that is Jesus Christ. Because you were talking about going behind and finding the 50-year-old toys behind the dead florist counter.
And then there's a painting on the one wall. It's left over from one of my uncles, and it has haunted generations of grandkids. It's a black velvet matador.
Oh, nice!
Its eyes follow you no matter where you are in that room. It's terrifying.
Does he have the bowl and the sticks? Is he going for the kill, or is he just standing there watching you judgmental?
It's this pose. It's this pose with the eyes, and hanging next to it or below it, depending on it must have belonged to another uncle. It's a shield with two swords and a flail. Now, me being me, I figured out you can take the flail off the plaque.
Oh. And use it to smash the matador in the face.
Well, there's a church next door to my uncle's house, which is where we used to shoot fireworks and such. I was on the other side of the hedgerow. There's a plan that when the time comes, we're taking the matador off the wall. All the cousins are going to the parking lot next door, dousing it in gasoline and lighting that son of a bitch on fire because it's haunted us all. Sometimes they would make us sleep out there.
Ooh,
that's even more terrifying when those kind of like velvety eyes are
looking at you and you're trying to sleep.
Yeah. Oh, and the other great part of the shop was it had has a gas heater in it. Sure, let's put a bunch of kids out in the a few action figures lost their lives in that heater. At some point, I became the oldest and put in charge of things. Who thought that was a good idea is beyond me.
That's one of those where you're like going, throwing it in the fire. I'm in charge. This was a bad idea.
Oh well, maybe they'll learn.
Maybe they'll learn. If I burn this place down, they won't put me in charge anymore. Yes, as I was filling time, I was saying, since we're talking about death stories, I can also tell the story of being a pallbearer at my grandmother's funeral. And we had to go up a hill and over a headstone and past there's a ritual, you put your hand on it, you pass it forward, and the person in the forward, he puts it on the beer and this. Okay, I'm the one in the back, and I slip and I have nobody to hand the the handle off to. And so I'm falling away from the casket, holding on to the casket, and the casket kind of tilts in my direction. I feel grandma roll in that box. And I'm like, going, oh God, oh God, oh God, it's going to fall out. It's going to open up and she's going to fall on me. Ah! It's like the creeps coming out of the woods all over again.
Right.
They're waiting till the very end to get me. They're going to pop
They're
out of
gonna
grandma's
get you.
casket at the funeral. I'm like 40 years old at this point. Come on, man. I'm still worried about
I
creeps
don't have that
coming
one.
out of a graveyard.
Oh, that's not good. Here's my favorite of the family funeral stories, and this is, we had a bunch of them in a row. You may or may not remember that. You weren't there for all of them, but you were there for maybe for
Okay.
some of them. But we went to visit family in Mississippi for Christmas one year. We came home on the 26th. We had just gotten home, and my aunt called to tell my dad that my grandmother had died. So we repacked our suitcases and we
Go
went
back.
to Mississippi. And it was cold as a ditch digger's ass, as my dad would say.
Mhm.
And he was having neck issues at the time. So he's in a collar. He was doped up. He doesn't remember much of it. But what I remember is we were at this little cemetery in Heidelberg, Mississippi, where the family's interred. And his helicopter lands across the street by the high school is across from the cemetery. Helicopter lands at the high school, and it's all the guys that work with Dad in Lafayette. They had taken one of the company choppers, loaded it up,
came up.
flown to Mississippi for the funeral, which I thought was amazing. Then he got back in the chopper and flew back.
I'm just sitting there. You're sitting there, graveside. It's like, oh shit, the creeps are coming out of the woods.
One of those big offshore helicopters, man. I will never forget that. And all those guys that were helicopter pilots for that company at the time had learned to fly in Vietnam, and they were all nuts. Like they used to kill the rotors just to start it up again.
Oh my God. I'm just sitting there thinking that, that's the kind of thinking that's sitting around going, man, Big Dave's got a funeral. That sucks. We should go see him. Yeah. Jump in a chopper. Let's go.
The hangar was in Scott. So it was on the other side of 10 in Scott. So they just they probably just drove from the oil center over to Scott, piled in, and took off. And it probably took them a couple of hours to get there in the chopper. I don't know.
Wow.
But yeah. I will never forget that as long as I live. That thing landing in the field of the high school where my dad went to high school, across the street from the cemetery where we're burying his mother. It just was like the most small town thing ever, except for the helicopter.
It's like small town would be when they pull up in a beater Camaro and they're climbing out because they've taken, it's winter, but they took the T-tops off so you can all fit in the car.
Playing.
Slow ride. And they're like jumping out like clowns. Oh, except they're coming out the T-top.
Oh dear God!
We went from all of the family to CPAP to funerals.
It's never a dull moment when you listen to Slurp Toast.
No, it's not.
We don't know where it's going.
Yeah, there's no script for this. She-Hulk, All in the Family, CPAP
Enos.
machines, Enos, funerals. Wow.
Oh man!
Did I ever tell you about Camaro Man? So
I think I would remember if you had.
So there was a guy in my route to work, and I would like stop and get like a donut or something at a we have Quick Trips, 7-Elevens, whatever convenience store in your neighborhood would be.
Right.
But there was this guy who drove one of those IROC Camaros, right, with the really pointy end front, T-tops. And he would get out of the car and he'd be wearing like a Smokey and the Bandit red shiny satin jacket. He had Elvis hair. He had pork chop sideburns. All of it dyed jet black. He's wearing the yellow and brown aviator sunglasses. And every time I saw the Camaro Man, I would go to work and my day would suck. It would be like the second I stepped in, hey Steve, the
Well,
networks are
because
down.
he's sucking all the good
He's sucking
karma
all the cool out of the
universe.
universe. Yes, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And I would swear to God, I'd be like, oh, I'd come out of Quick Trip and I'd see that Camaro roll in, and I'm like, damn it. And no sooner would I hit work than the server would be down and everything else. And but I will say, as far as committing to a bit, he had the T-top eye rock. And in the summer, man,
That's
he'd have the
hardcore.
T-top off, and yeah, that black dyed, stuck in place helmet hair, not moving. And it was like, I get it. You peaked in the 80s. Let it go, man. Let it go.
He's probably still a big hit down at whatever dive
Hey,
bar
down
he
Lake of the
hangs out in.
Ozarks.
Yeah.
Yeah, he rolls in, and there I call him Camaro Man. It's probably Jeff. You know, Jeff. Nobody's going Camaro Man. All right, yeah.
Oh no! Some of them are calling him Camaro Man. You know they are, because there's always that one or two dicks in the crowd to get
Just calling him
Jeff
Camaro
stuck.
Man, and yeah, hey man, did you get the newest BTO album? Oh man, you gotta fucking blow us that. I don't know. It's come on 8-track. Jesus Christ.
Slow ride.
Hell yes. Hell yes. Yes. Foreigner now featuring the members of Foghat.
All those bands. There's just like one guy left from each one. When they advertise
Exactly.
8 groups, it's really just one group, and this one guy moves to the front every time.
Yeah, is there any of the original? It's like when Night Ranger comes on, and Babe does not like it when Night Ranger comes on because I start singing Sister Christian, even if it's not that song. Sister Christian, will you do? Murdering. She's like, what's up?
Actual footage of your daughter.
Pretty much. Motorin, which is such a bizarre song.
So much.
Sister Christian and then Motorin, and that the song is called Motorin, isn't it?
No, it's called Sister Christian.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
And yet the most famous lyric is Motorin. Nice bridge, boys.
Your prize for the flight. That song will forever be Alfred Molina coked out of his brain in a bathrobe singing. So that's all I can think of when I hear him.
No, man. Babe was working on like a haunted house cookie, Christmas gingerbread house.
Okay.
And she got like icing on her face, and the boyfriend Holden, not actually named Holden. I had to call his name out. I had to think about what the fuck's his name. Oh yeah, right. Anyway, Colton's like, hey, you got a little orange spot on your face, and I'm saying, little orange spot on your face today. It's the same old spot as yesterday. My wife's like, what the hell? It's like,
all right, Jeff.
Yeah. Yeah. Camaro Man. That dude is sweet. He's even got the Burt Reynolds mustache to go with the satin jacket.
Wow.
And it's like, what's the matter, dude? Couldn't afford the Firebird, or did you trade up to the IROC?
Oh, I think you should call him Hooper.
That's good.
Speaking of 70s,
no. 70s stuntman movies.
We're not going down the Burt Reynolds Americana car movie route. That's no
the
good.
Hal Needham collection. I got an idea for a movie. What's the movie? It's a guy in a car. Burt Reynolds fast.
I love it. As
Terry
I say
Bradshaw and Joe Colecco will be in it.
And Jerry Reed, because we need a theme song.
Jerry Reed. Yeah. Be fantastic.
Jerry Reed, because we need a theme song.
That's right. And Dom DeLuise for comic relief. Captain Chaos. Jack Elam.
I don't know why they didn't make more Cannonball Run movies. It was like The Love Boat. It wasn't that hard to cast. You just get a bunch of has-beens and put them in cars.
Yeah, exactly. All of Bert's friends, and then it's just vignette after vignette after vignette. Oh, look, there's the thing with the football players, and then there's a big car wreck at the end, and somehow or another, Burt Reynolds and Dom DeLuise win.
And Jamie Farr is a sheik. I don't know. It was the
or wait a minute,
boat.
Dean Martin and Sammy Davis Jr. as priests.
It was the Love Boat meets the Wacky Racers. It's not hard. They should still be making one of those a year, and we should be into like it has been 90s stars at this point.
It's the made for TV of the week, maybe a movie of the week type of thing.
There's plenty of platforms now.
Cannonball Run 22. Where we're going, there are no roads, and it's all in Jeeps.
Seriously, you throw Christopher Lloyd in the back of the ambulance. It's the same thing as Jack Elam.
What? Oh, Marty!
Oh, I'm sorry. He wouldn't be the one. It wouldn't be Christopher Lloyd shaking. It'd be Michael J. Fox. I'm sorry. Too soon?
No, not at all.
Okay,
wow.
Seriously. Okay, for the next show, we're gonna cast a Cannonball Run movie, circa 2022. Give it some thought. Come with some racers. Let's see what the Venn diagram looks like of what you bring and what I bring. Let's do that.
Oh man, Robert Urich is dead. Otherwise, he's my lead.
He'd have been in the 90s movies because he peaked in the 80s, so he would have already aged out. So
then I will take.
I'm going to put Richard
Ted McGinley. Richard Grieco. I'm going to take. Yeah,
I get Grieco. I call Grieco.
Okay, all right. Well, holy shit. Oh my God, Pamela Anderson for sure.
Oh, she's she's in the zip.
She's in the thing with Adrian. Oh my God, this is total throwback. And, Adrian Barbeau.
We're done. That's a show right there. We're done. We've circled back to Maud twice. We have to stop.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right, that's the end of episode 51 of Slurp Toast, a podcast. Next time we're gonna bring the 2022 version of Cannonball Run. Give it some thought. We'll think about it. And when we do it next time, if you've got thoughts or comments, or you want to throw somebody at us who you want in the cast,
Connor.
We have Connor. Thanks, Connor. I have to show him the Cannonball Run first. So until next time, I'm still Bruce.
I'm still Steve.
And we'll see you down the road. Later. Bye.
Bye.